Good morning. I'm Dr. Pushpakant from Pacific Business School, Faculty of Finance. Today I'm going to discuss a relevant topic of investment management, a very important topic in today's scenario. Before I start with the investment management, I need to take an discussion on the basic objective of financial management. As you are aware about the basic objective, there are two basic objectives of financial management in all. They are also known as the approaches to financial management. One is wealth maximization approach. The second one is profit maximization approach. As far as a firm or a company is concerned, our discussion here for investment management is confined to the layman investors, we can say, who are not much aware about the concepts of financial management as such. So, whenever an investor is investing in a particular security, any form of security, he is backed up by certain motives for his investment. Say, person X, an X investor, is investing in a security because he wants a regular income out of it. Regular income or recurring income out of it means after making an investment, he wants that after a particular time period, he should receive certain cash inflows for the day-to-day requirement of his life. Pension fund is the best example. I invest in pension fund. After a certain period of time, when I retire, I get monthly pension or monthly cash inflows on regular basis. Some investors might have their intention to have a capital gain. Capital gain means any gain, any profit which is arising by selling a capital investment or a capital asset. Capital asset means, say, land is in capital asset, a flat is in capital asset, any house is in capital asset, agricultural land is in capital asset. Any investment which you are holding for a longer duration to make capital profits, on which capital gain tax is paid. But our discussion is not confined to that capital gain tax. Only capital gain is the issue. Second thing, some investors are investing in a particular security or in any of the capital asset just because they want to hedge against inflation. Hedging means, we can say, suppose if I'm in my funds are lying in a saving bank account and they are fetching me an interest of 3.5%. So if 1 lakh is there in my bank account, I'll be getting 3.5% as an interest. So 3,500 rupees will be my income. In fact, the inflation rate in the market is 7% for a particular referred year. This means what? As far as the time value of money is concerned, if my investment in a saving bank, they are lying in a saving bank, it is not an investment, it is just a saving, we can say. They are lying in a bank and they are giving me an interest of 3.5. I'll be getting 3,500. Inflation is 7%. So I'm losing 7%. That is, my investment will be somewhere, they will be coming at exactly 93,000 rupees. At the same time, on 1 lakh, I'm earning an interest of 3.5%. So 3,005% I'll be getting the interest after 1 year. So altogether we can say I'm losing 7%, I'm gaining 3.5%. My net benefit is only 3.5%. So at least making an investment, I should seek for some avenues, some securities that are more than they're giving a return which is more than 3.5%. So that is basically hedging against inflation. Some of the investments are made because of some high returns. High return means, say, in security market, equity market, we can say we are investing because of high returns. So the investment in any of the particular asset is depending on what is the motive of your investment. So somebody might have motive of regular income, somebody might have the motive of capital gain, somebody might have to hedge against inflation. Some people, some investors want the safety of funds. Say some 1 lakh rupees is in my treasury, so I want that they are not safe in the treasury, so I am putting that in a bank account. So safety of funds is one of the aspect in investment management. Now, whenever we are making investment, there are certain features associated with that investment. The first one is the risk which is associated with that investment. Risk means the chances of losing my money, the chances of variation in my returns is basically, we used to call it as risk. The second aspect, the second feature we can say is the return. The third one, we can call it as in safety of my funds, as I have already mentioned earlier. The next might be the next feature might be the liquidity aspect. Say liquidity aspect means whenever I'm investing in any of the asset, so if I want an immediate cash to be withdrawn out of that investment, so if I'm investing in a particular we can say a plot of land or a flat, it is not that much easier for me to sell that particular flat immediately and get the cash. I need to wait for a certain period. Liquidity aspect means that the speed at which we are recovering the cash out of that particular asset. Second feature, the next feature is the marketability of the asset. Whether whatever investment which I made, whether they are easily marketable or not. Marketable means we have say for a sale of securities shares, we have stock exchange in which I can immediately sell off my securities and I can get cash within 3 to 4 days. So these are the features of an investment. Features of investment means what that investments are providing in the form of risk, return, safety, liquidity, and marketability. Say if my purpose is to get immediate liquidity is my purpose, then I need to invest in say FDs, where I can put an application and within few days I get my cash back, or the cash which I invested I get back within 3 to 4 days. If my purpose is to have a capital gain, then I'm going to invest in some capital asset, but at the same time getting liquidity out of capital asset immediately is not possible. So investor need to set his priority with reference to the motives as well as the features of the investment. Now, whenever I invest, what I want that I should get the return which are much more higher. Every investor is expecting some higher return. So there comes out another concept of financial management or investment management, that is risk. Risk means whenever you analyze that I'm going to sell this property, sell this security after a certain duration, and I have an expectation that I'm going to get 10% return out of it. But originally when I'm selling those securities in the market, my returns are not exactly 10%, they are much below that. Might be they are much more higher than that also. So whenever we find a gap between the expected return of an investment as well as the actual return of that investment, this gap is what we used to call risk. Risk is arising because of uncertainty. I'm not certain that after a particular point of time what return I'm going to get. So I'm not certain. So whenever there is uncertainty in any of the investment, it's assured that I'm going to have some risk associated with that. So we can you might have gone through the concept that high risk, high return, low risk, low return. If I'm going to invest in a share which is highly volatile means the frequency with which the share is, the market price of the share is moving is not that much stagnant, not that much parallel to my expectation. They are frequent. It is frequently changing. Today, let us suppose the share price was 100 rupees. The next day it is 120 20 rupees, the another day it is 135 rupees, the next day it is 150, and immediately you find that it is 110, as it is happening nowadays due to some this effect in the market which is going on due to this corona effect. Now, all the risks which are associated with my investment are because of certain reasons. Say, if I might have chosen a wrong security. Wrong security means, let me talk about the capital investment in plot of land. Now, we are well aware that this market is not that much high at this particular point of time, and it is not considered as an very beneficial investment, because the prices are the security market, the flats, the plot of land, or any of the real estate which is there, the prices are not moving in positive direction, although some of the areas confined, they are falling down. So if I bought a plot of land or a house property or a business premises within a year or two, maybe in 2018-19, it is a wrong selection of security, because it is as far as the market is concerned, it's not going that much speed which I thought that it might be going in the near future. This is also associated with the wrong timing of investment. So we can say I'd invested in a wrong security in a wrong time. 2018 was not a time to invest in real estate, but I invested. So this was the reason that my risk was high at that time. Similarly, length of security, the length of investment is very, very important also, as far as is the relevant factor of causing a risk. So if I invest in a security for a year, I can say that my risk might be low. If I invest from 2 years, 3 years, if I invest in a security for 10 years, 10 years period, a 10 years duration is a too long duration I'm going to have. Now in 10 years, there may be fluctuations, or there will be fluctuations in the market nationally due to some economic reasons, due to political reasons, whatever reasons might be. So when I take a span of 10 years in such a security where the returns are quite unexpected, or it is not that much easier to analyze, taking into consideration that long duration, in such a case it might be a riskier investment for me. But if I take an example of a fixed deposit, say fixed deposit is a well secured security, it's a well secured investment. So when the span of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or any securities in RDs and all that, we have 10 years, let us take an example. So we, being an investor, are quite secure even if the tenure is 10 years. But that is not applicable for each and every security into consideration. So our discussion is that the quantum of investment I am making, the duration I have chosen, the timing of the security I have chosen will matter a lot in deciding that whether that investment will be a riskier investment or it will be not a riskier investment. Now, based on these, we divide the risk into two categories. As a financial analyst, the analysts are dividing the risk into two categories. One is systematic risk and the other one is unsystematic risk. There is a concept of portfolio management. Portfolio means in an investment bucket, we can say we have various securities of different categories. The purpose of building a portfolio is we are diversifying the risk which are associated with that individual securities. So systematic risk is the risk which can be, it's not possible for an investor to avoid that risk, or we can say to fully control that risk. And unsystematic risks are the risks which are in control of individual investor. So systematic risk can be, say, market risks are there, interest rate risks are there, inflation is not in one's control, whatever political disturbances which are there, economic disturbances which are there, global meltdown, all these are examples of systematic risk which is not in the control of any of the investor. originally speaking, the systematic risk is the original risk which is responsible for the variation in the returns of a particular security. Unsystematic risk is that is the risk which is controlled or that can be avoidable. Say business risk is there, financial risk is there, any risk which is confined to only that particular security or that particular company for which that security is associated. So they say there is a problem in X company. The company X has recruited some personnel, some employees in the firm, but they are not competent enough to work in that firm, and the company is neither in a position to terminate them due to whatever labor laws which are there in the country. So if the shares of the company are falling down due to this reason, then in that case, investor can sell out the shares of that company and can invest in another company. So in that way, he can avoid that risk. So such risks are unsystematic risk. Unsystematic risk means which can be avoided. So combination of both these risks are we used to call them a total risk. So this is our discussion as far as risk is concerned, and whenever we are going to finalize or evaluate any of the security for investment, we are going to take into consideration the categories of risk which are there associated with that particular security. So in this session we end up here regarding the discussion. Thanks a lot.